Here's a look at the 4 Big Ten games to start conference play coming up on Tuesday. Purdue hosts Ohio State. Indiana travels to visit Ravante Race and the Illini. 2 games on BTN as Michigan State goes to the BJC to face Penn State, while Nebraska travels to Iowa City to take on the 22nd ranked Hawkeyes. For more on Tuesday's Big Ten openers, welcome in BTN basketball analyst Tim Doyle. Tim, let's get right to it and start with a matchup that appears to be very intriguing, at least on paper. Indiana, Illinois, neither team ranked, both teams considered to be middle of the pack in the Big Ten. What can we take really from the first conference game of the year, and what can we make of these teams as we try to look forward down the road?
Well, coming into the season, Indiana, you had to figure they were going to be in a transition period. You lose 4 guys. That's right, 4 guys that scored 1,000 points in college, including 2 guys that were basically top 10 picks in Zeller and Oladipo. So the team was changing, and Yogi Ferrell, went from being a role player to being the man. Now, statistically, he's shooting over 40% from 3. His numbers are up. But, Rick, I kind of called him out a couple of weeks ago as far as distributing the ball and being more of a point guard. I saw a lot more of that the last couple of games of the season. I think Indiana's starting to round into form going into conference season, but to get 9 wins in the Big Ten could be tough. As for Illinois, man, they've really been a nice surprise. They could easily be undefeated. They got a lot of different guys that could hurt you. Ravante Rice, the transfer from Drake, has been fantastic. This is going to be a game, Rick, that could set one of these teams off in the right direction to start conference play.
That game in Champaign. Let's go to Purdue, Timmy, where the Boilermakers host Ohio State. I'll be honest with you. I think I know the least about Purdue in terms of knowledge of every single team in the league. What should we know about Purdue, and do they have any chance against Ohio State?
I think they have a big-time chance. And I know I've been a little bit of an Ohio State hater, and in my power rankings, I still have Ohio State as the 3rd best team in the Big Ten, which is funny because some have them as the 3rd best team in the country, but they just struggle to score at times. And if you look back to the Notre Dame game, they go 8+ minutes without a field goal in Madison Square Garden. Somehow, some way, figure out a way to win that game. But now they go on the road in conference against a Purdue team where I think the talent is there. Tyrone Johnson and Ronnie Johnson, the brothers Johnson, are really talented. They're scoring a lot more points than they used to, but they're giving also up a lot more points than they're used to. So it's going to come down to who it always comes down to, A.J. Hammonds. When he plays well, when he's assertive, when he's effective, if he wins that matchup against Amir Williams, I would not be shocked if the Boilermakers pull off the upset.
One of the 2 games here on BTN, Michigan State at Penn State. On paper, Tim, this appears to be a mismatch, but we know Pat Chambers guys, Tim Frazier and company, always play hard, and for some reason they always give Michigan State a tough time in State College. What do you expect?
Well, here's the thing. I'd be surprised if Michigan State lost this game. But I would also be surprised if this was a blowout. I think Penn State at home has some momentum going into conference play. DJ Newball and Tim Frazier, the best scoring backcourt duo in the Big Ten. But the X factor may be John Johnson. Here's a guy who no one knew anything about, the transfer from Pitt. His first game in a Penn State uniform goes off for 20 points. So now you're looking at Penn State as, wow, a lot of small ball. They're going to spread you out. So if they shoot good from 3, they're able to make some shots early, stay in the game. I expect that to be a very close affair. I'm not saying I'm picking Penn State because I think Gary Harris, Adrian Payne, and then Keith Appling, who really played tremendous in his last non-conference game, I think they're just a little bit too talented for Penn State, but I think that's going to be a close game in Happy Valley.
Finally, Iowa at home against Nebraska. The Hawkeyes ranked 22nd in the nation. Nebraska has not had a great non-conference, just 8-4, coming off a disappointing loss to Cincinnati. What should we know about Fran McCaffrey's Iowa team that we don't know already?
I don't know. That's a good question, Pete, because I think we know that they score a lot of points. They lead the Big Ten in that, almost 90 a game, and they're deep, and I mean really deep. They play like 10, 11 guys, and I think what makes them so good is when they sub, the fall off is not that deep. From 5, 6, 7, 8, they're all interchangeable. I think the X factor for Iowa is going to be not only in this game but the rest of the season is how are they going to make enough shots on the perimeter to keep defenses honest, prevent defenses from packing them in. And Josh Oglesby, who was injured earlier in the season, he comes back. He's made a bunch of threes so far in the non-conference, even though he's only played a few games. Nebraska has no shot in this game. I'm sorry, Tim Miles. You're like my 4th favorite human on the earth, but you got no shot in this game. Nebraska's going to win some games at home. As far as winning on the road in conference, this is going to be a tall task.
Before you go, I have to ask, if Tim Miles is number 4 on your favorite human list, who are the top 3?
Well, first of all, my parents, I'll go 1 and 1A. Dirk Rackley is 2, and then my wife's got to be 3.
Can't believe I got left off the list. No surprise. Tim Doyle, BTN.
I got ahead of my wife. I would have to answer a lot of questions.
You're in trouble. You better not go home tonight, my friend. Thanks, Timmy D.
All right, bud.